Hello, this is the Couch Kumara, and I'm doing a review of Victor N. Alexander's The Story of Adam and Eve from ancient Aramaic scriptures. It should have Eve, not even. It's a typo. It's a video program that traces the story of Adam and Eve to the beginning of time from the ancient Aramaic scriptures of the ancient Church of the East, again by the translator Victor N. Alexander, native-born Mesopotamian, Aramaic-speaking translator, filmmaker, historian in relation to the true history of Mesopotamia and so forth. Okay, because underneath this video I have had a very interesting conversation with an Assyrian, a native-born Assyrian, who has advised me on different questions in relation to different questions that I've asked him. Very nice guy. Yeah, and it's given me a greater understanding of the Assyrians and the Assyrian history, the real Assyrian history. But we'll first look at his video, The Story of Adam and Eve from the ancient Aramaic scriptures, taken from his website. Right, he's actually reading from the original supposed hidden and preserved manuscripts he bought from a priest of the Apostolic Church of the East, okay, because he was translating into Syriac, and the priest says, why'd you do that? He just finished the New Testament or something like that. And he said, because whatever reason he had, and the priest says, why? Because the Syriac is actually wrong when all was translated, all was originally written down in the ancient Assyrian Aramaic or Assyrian, Kitab Assyrian, not the Syriac, and the Syriac is wrong. Okay, it's incorrect. Okay. If you studied his website and communicated with him as long as I have, then you have all this information. If you have a look at his website every day and really researched it, studied it and did your research, you'd probably know the same amount as I do about his website, okay, and about him. He's a really nice old man. He's probably about 60 or 70. Anyway, we'll have a little listen to this video, see what he's about.
Hello, this is Vic Alexander. I've been translating the scriptures for 15 years.
This is his Aramaic New Testament.
Completed the New Testament and published it. And now I'm doing the Old Testament commentaries. So today I'm going to start with the book of Genesis, and I'm going to pick on one concept only, and that is the creation of Adam and Eve. So I'm going to read from the Saprabrita, which means the scripture or scroll of creation, which is how we call Genesis. It's also how modern Jews today call the first book of Moses. They call it Brashit. So I begin from Pipaliun Allah, chapter 1, verse 1. Brashit Bara Alaha Yachmaya Yat Ara. Barid Allah also means Son of God. And Brashit means at the beginning, before the foundations of the universe. This term I have done a whole tape on just this one word. Brashit encompasses the whole scriptures, because Bara is light, Bara is sun, Brishit means at the beginning, at the head. It has a lot more meanings. The word just made up two letters, Beat, Uresh, that is B and R, has vast roots and meanings in the language. So I won't...
Yeah, because they didn't have vowels way back then. They had one, which was A, but it wasn't considered a vowel, it was considered a consonant. That's why it's like they're using the trilateral rule that Islam uses. Okay, so instead of having burita, like you said, it's just B, R, and whatever, right? Okay, so what he's saying in that small portion about in the beginning, as the beginning, etc., is here. Okay, this is his translation of the Old Testament Genesis or Brita. Okay, as the beginning, right? See, as the beginning. That's how it reads in the language. As the beginning, the Son of God creates heavens and the earth. So in the beginning, as the beginning, right? He creates. In the beginning, he creates everything. Okay, over an immeasurable period of time. Eon, age, era, or as it states in this these verses translated into English. Okay, so what he's talking about, he's going to talk about how God created the human being, but the thing is, there's actually two creations. There's the Neanderthal man, or the Aborigine, as he terms it, not meaning the Australian Aborigine. It's a term for the Neanderthal man, pre-Adamic man, and also he'd probably cover the Adam, okay, or the Adamtha, or the Adama, that was moulded by God from the dust. Okay. And there's a difference. The Neanderthal man just had the spirit, right? So he could breathe, live, basically, right? He didn't have the spirit of God. Whereas the Adamic, the Adama, or the Adamtha, the Adam made from the dust, or from the earth, the dirt, he had the spirit of God. So he had that communication. Yeah, he had that, that commune with God. Okay. Or Allaha. Okay, there's a difference there. You have to go and study it, which, as I have, right? So yeah. So what he's going to say is that, I think I might cover it in that video. Genesis 1:26, translated from the original Assyrian Asher. Okay, Assyrian Aramaic, sorry, or Asher. And God said, we, that means two or more. So it's probably talking to the Son of God. Or the Son of God was talking to the Father. The triune concept. And the Holy Spirit. We shall make the human being in the image of our likeness, or like us, right? The form of us, our form, right? And they shall have authority. That's they'll be given permission, charge over the fish of the sea, and the birds of the sky, and the herds, and all the creatures of the earth, and all the four-legged animals that walk on the earth. Okay. And God created the human being to resemble. That human being has that form. That looks like him, has the face of God, right? His own visage, that's what visage means. Okay, so, well, resemble is to look like, okay? To be the same as his own visage, that's his face, his form. Okay? He created them as two or more, male and female. See, two different genders, okay? Male and female. At that same time. Okay, and he's got an asterisk indication there. Okay, go, what is it, 127. There's a footnote here. So here's the literal Aramaic word, Adam. Okay, 127, literal Aramaic idiomatic construction. And there created God to Adam with his visage, and the visage of God he created a male and female. He created them. Okay, so he created male and female. Them, two or more. Okay. And then down here, 128, literal Aramaic idiom. God created the Aboriginal man first, and then you click on it, you go to his theory of the Aborigine. Okay, and he speaks about the origins of the Neanderthal man in comparison with archaeology and science. Okay, and he states, unlike evolution, this agrees with science, because what he's saying is evolution likes to change its story now and again. Like you're a puddle, or you're the sea or something came out of the sea, you became an amoeba, right, which formed into something, and a whale 60 million years ago transformed into a black bear, or we were monkeys coming out of the tree, come down from the trees, lost our tail, and stuff like that, Yeah, so he basically delves into that, so we'll go back to that video. So yeah, he's created the Neanderthal man first, right, as it says here, the Aboriginal man. That's just the term he's using, right, for that certain peoples. Okay, it's not the Australian Aboriginal. Okay. You have to go to his theory of the Aborigine. Okay, just go there and then go back, come back. Okay, if we can go there. Yeah, you have to go here. I did another exclusive video on it, and read it to understand what he's going on about. Okay. 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 So there's a Christian theology that says he made everything in 6 literal days, but if you read this, okay, the Son of God creates the heavens and the earth. The Son of God created everything, right? And it matches with John 1:1-3 or 4. Okay? It matches with it. It tells you that He created everything, and it was all done for Him, by Him, and so forth. So here we have, and God called the light day and the darkness night, and the evening and the morning became part of one cycle. Yeah, that's what he called it. Evolution. He's not talking about apes, primates like that. Darwinian theory. Yeah. The evening and the morning became part of one cycle. The first eon. There's a footnote indication there, asterisk. So go down the bottom there to find it. Okay, here's the Aramaic word, 153, literal Aramaic word, Yuma, eon, immeasurable period, age or day, capital D, because they had a weird day. It was all in relationship to the, to the lunar solar cycle, okay, the moon and the sun and the moon, and they used a creator's calendar. So you got to go and study about day with a capital D, okay? Because it was really weird. I've explained it in another video, I believe. Okay, so I've actually read this in a modern Bible, right? Well, this guy was hinting at it on a website somewhere years and years ago. I read it. He says, we went there. It was an immeasurable period. It's unfathomable. We went there, so we don't know how long it took them. Because apparently, 1,000 years? A day is like 1,000 years to God. So, Creator takes his time. Well, doesn't make mistakes, then, does he? Yeah. If you rush into something, you make a mistake, almost guaranteed, right? Well, not that he's going to make a mistake, but he just takes his time. He doesn't have to rush. Okay, so that's what it says there. Aramaic word, euma, eon, immeasurable period, age or day. Not a 6-day or 7-day literal 7-day week, right? That came later. Okay. So he makes this Neanderthal man first, and he tells them to multiply and increase and fill the earth and its environment and have authority over the fish in the sea, right? So that's what they do. They go wander off into another land and multiply and increase. They have offspring, right? Okay. Science and archaeological, oh my gosh, I did it again. Archaeological and scientific evidence has shown that there's remains in Europe of the Neanderthal man, which is a German word, by the way. Okay, so there's proof there that there was a pre-Adamic man, a Neanderthal. Right? There might be like different names to Cro-Magnon and so forth, so forth. Okay. Of late, that Lucy, the supposed ancestor, primate ancestor is proved fake. I don't know about Adi, the one they said is 4 million years older. Maybe that'll come up as fake too. Not really sure. Okay, so it makes us Neanderthal man first, right? And then Genesis 2. Genesis 2:7. And the Lord God molded Adam from the dust to resemble himself. It had his face, it had his form, looked like him, right? Similar to, or same as, himself. And he blew on their faces the breath of life. And Adam became a living soul, because he was inanimate, right? He's an inanimate soul encased in a body, right? A physical body made from the dirt. So he breathes the breath of life upon him, right? And he becomes a living soul. He becomes animate, gets up, walk around, talk. So he's got a footnote indication there, the breath of life. Okay. 272. Literal Aramaic idiom. That's their way of expressing their thought, putting their thought across. Breeze. Okay. He blew a breeze, or a breeze went across their face into their nostrils, and they were given that spirit of life, which is the Holy Spirit, so they can commune with God. They can commune with God, talk with God, walk with God, etc. Okay. It's later on, I think it's Genesis 6. Okay. Sorry, it was there. Let me get back. Indicates there. Chapter 4:26. And to Seth also was born a son, and he called his name Enosh. Thereafter, okay, after all this, Adam and Eve had 2 sons called Cain and Abel. Cain kills Abel, and he's banished to the land of Nod, or wandering, right? Adam and Eve get together again and had a son called Seth, right? No other sons and daughters are indicated, right? And his name was called Enosh. Okay. Seth was a replacement. Here it is here. And Adam took his wife Eve again, she became pregnant and gave birth, and she called his name Seth, because God gave her another offspring in place of Abel, who was killed by Cain. And to Seth also was born a son, and he called his name Enosh. Thereafter, they were called the name of the Lord. Indication down here, footnote indication, so it's footnote, right? The beginning of the line of the children of the Lord. That holy line, okay? Okay, so, here you go. He explains it. 2 types of men created. One a spiritual being and one a non-spiritual being. So, the first one, the Neanderthal man, just followed his animal instincts. Right? He'll go back to his video. Hopefully you understood that.
Go into that this morning, as I have done it already. I'm just going to go on with the other verses regarding Adam. Brashit bara Allah ayat Shmaya yat Ara. Shmaya is heaven and Ara is earth. Because there was nothing at the beginning, there was no time or space. So he created everything, time and space. And now I'm going to go
But not time
and read from the book of creation, the story of how Adam and Eve were created, how humanity came into being. So I have published this book. It's Genesis, and there is the symbol of Allah Ashur, which is the symbol of God or the Godhood. Ashur with the sun. There is the symbol of Allah Ashur.
See, what I did in my personal research, okay, he's not telling you. I went and I checked up, who's this Ashur? Okay, Ashur was a king. Okay, he was a real king of that country, right? Ashur. Okay, he's supposedly the guy in the middle. Okay. Legendary king, and like, obviously stories evolve. I told him how superhuman he was, all this sort of stuff, right? That's how legends go. Look at the legend of Bruce Lee. Like he dodged bullets and catch him in his teeth, all that sort of stuff, those sort of things. Attributed to this great person, right? Okay. So yeah, down in these comments, right, way down here, I happened to talk with a native-born Assyrian, and he opened my eyes to what it was really all about. And I found some things that I think might lead to a dodgy person posing as him. Okay, and some things that he said that it's like, wow, that's like really far out. Is that actual fact? Yes, I've got to go study that. Okay, so get way down here somewhere. Okay, where's it? Okay, here we go. So I put here, a person asked, how do you pronounce Yahweh in Aramaic, or YHWH in Aramaic? Please respond. So I put here, according to the translator, God in the Aramaic, and this is what I found also in my personal research of it, study of it, God in the Aramaic never had a name, only a title, reserved for sacred use only, referring to him in the Son alone as Maran or Maria Alaha, and sometimes El or Eloi is used. Christ was never Jesus Christ, but he was named, well, his title was, because he came in the name of the title of the Father, the name of the Father, title of the Father. Okay, Maria Isho, or Isho, pronounced as Isho, Mashika, right, in the ancient Aramaic. For Westerners who find it hard to say, Joshua, equivalent in English is Joshua. Okay, so this Assyrian guy, he's named Asher, says no such a thing. I think it's saying that great. No such thing called Yahweh. If you come to the truth, you get searched for it long. Story, I can't write it down for you, but just like this person told you, we say Allah, not Allah. That's so Islamic, Arabic. That's what it's mentioned in a lot of other videos, because Islam, Imam tries to claim that Allah is in the Aramaic scriptures. It's not talking about Allah, it's talking about Allah, right? Which comes from the, it goes right back to the Nabateans. It's actually Laa, the pantheon of gods, keeper of the net. Okay, so yeah, it comes from the ancient Aramaic Allah, because that's his title, not Allah or Ullah or Allah, whatever. No, nothing to do with the Islamic one. Plus, they don't believe in Christ anyway as the Son of God. They say he's only the prophet. Like Muhammad, and the son of Mary, he wasn't God's son because God has no equal. Okay, so what did Jesus say? If you don't believe in me, right, if you don't accept me as the Son of God, the Messiah, who I say I am, right, then you don't have me, you don't have the Father, right? You don't have the Father, you don't have me. So you have no part in God, right? So that's where they make the mistake. Because apparently Muhammad didn't believe in that. He didn't understand the triune concept, right? He loved the people of the book, but didn't understand it, so he left it up. Okay, it's just what I read. Okay, so some more here. Yeah, okay. No such thing called Yahweh. If you come to the truth, you can search for it. Long story, I can't write it down for you. But just like this person told you, Vicky Alexander, we say Allah, not Allah. That's so Islamic, Arabic. So it's Allah or Il or Mari or Maria. But we can't really translate what does Ma ia or Mai mean, because it gives a lot of meanings, but it all goes to God. So you will often hear Alaha or Ma ia or Ma ia Alaha. They leave the H off the. Okay. And I replied, oh yeah, Asher, yes, Maran or Maria Alaha, Mari or Maran is the second title, only to be used in regards to Alaha or Isho or Isho or Yosho. Vic states that Alaha is a title, not a name. Why is the Muslim Allah not God? Because I see in the Bible Maya, Isho, Mashika, Jesus the Messiah, wrongly referred to as Jesus, stated if you don't believe and follow him, you don't have the Father. The Father is not in you. And Muhammad couldn't get his head around the triune aspect, so he lifted up. And he wanted a new religion strictly for his people, but the name Allah comes from the Damu, the ancient Sumerian Allah, who was the owner of the net. And here's the link there. Onwards. Okay. Yah or Yahweh is said to have originally come from ancient Egypt, was one of their gods. Some information there. Okay. In the beginning there was the Multa, the word, that's in the Greek, it's wrongly translated. And he, the Multa, the word was with Allah, God, and Allah, God himself, was the Multa, the word in Victor Alexander's translation. The Aramaic New Testament, Multa, manifestation of God. He was unknown to men, came out from the presence of God, was revealed, made visible. Okay, he was revealed. This is from Andrew Gabriel Roth's website, the AramaicScriptures.com. He uses he provides the Syriac font, also the Syriac word, and he puts the English next to it so to make it easier. People who don't speak that language to pick it up, right? Those 13. Those who neither from blood nor from the desire of the flesh, and neither from the will of a Gabara, a man, but rather were begotten from Allah God. Okay, that's from the Syriac. Okay, and I put, Asher, I have a question for you. The name Asher was of a real human king who to many was popular and loved, became a legend over time, originally in the winged disc icon, this thing here. Okay, and here's the image of it to go look at it. Okay, shows this winged sun disc. Okay, fourth image and 14th image. Bad typing. Show this winged disc, as Victor shows on his book of Genesis in the video, which has a man in the middle wearing a crown, the crown of righteousness. This originally was Asher, the king of the Asherite. So then, it is from the Mesopotamians, said descendants of the ancient Sumerians who created myths. Had myths as seen in the ancient so then it is from the Mesopotamian said descendants of the ancient Sumerians who created myths. Had myths as seen in the ancient Sumerian texts, like many cultures did after them. And the Yahudi or Yahudians or Judeans, who later called themselves Jews, adopted and then adapted the language of the Asherite, which is Assyrian. There is no Assyrian Aramaic only. Assyrian, religious beliefs, practices from the Assyrians who invaded Babylon. No language as Aramaic, because the ik on the end is from the Old Latin and is an N prefix indicating it was owned. It's a loan word from the Greek and the Latin, okay, indicating it was owned by whoever spoke it. So Aramaic minus the ik would leave Aram. So it may have been a people who spoke a language or the language of Aram. Okay, in Genesis, they're the descendants of that guy, Aram. The Latins go home. People ask them, the people in that land, what did they speak? To give them an answer, they said Aram, ik. Other examples of the prefix: Asia, Persia, India, Australia, Antarctica, Pacific, Assyria, Sumeria, etc. Okay? So then I asked this Assyrian, please do me a favour and look at this and tell me what you think. As this lady is using Vic's translation, but I think she's trying to claim that she's an angel sent to testify to all, maybe calling herself Sarah after Abraham's wife, Sarai or Sarah. Okay. And he replies, Thank you. Geez, are you Assyrian? He's like quite amazed that I know a lot of this Assyrian information. Thank you. Geez, are you Assyrian? If not, how do you know about what you said about Assyrian and Aramaic? You're absolutely right. See? Because honesty is my best policy. So I'm not here to pull the wool over your eyes, give you some fluff, some BS, some hype. No such a language was called Aramaic. It's known by Assyrian language, Lishana Assyria. Also Syriac came from Assyrian. Syrians came from Assyrian, right? Syrians is like a shortened name for Assyrians. Like he said, they came from Assyria. Asher is God and not a king. No one have seen him. He actually was a king. History records that he was a king. Okay. But no one have seen him. He's a spirit, a god, not a king or a human being. Kings took this name, so he must have been a king, right? On themselves as Asher Bani Pao, Asher Yubala, too, etc. So the word Asher means God. Okay. It's like probably like the Egyptians where they, Ramesses, see that, etc., etc. They use the name of their god that they've revered, venerated, right? Ramesses and stuff like that. You understand what I mean? Yeah, Asher is God and not a king. No one have seen him. He's a spirit, a god, not a king or a human being. Kings took the name on themselves as Asher Banipal, Asher Bala 2, etc. So the word Asher means God, and he's the God, the same God that now we believe in. The Jews took our stories and copied them, played them as they want. They changed it into Yahweh, and there's no such thing called that. Latin language is the big problems. For us, that's why we're called Assyrian, with the S and not sh. Greeks put double S because they didn't have the SH in their language. In Aramaic, Aramaeans, Syriac, all that stuff that happened because of Latin. People, Greeks, and also churches played a big game in it. Orthodox and Catholic. Yeah, kind of hard to understand what he's saying, but Jewish we call Judea. Hebrews is Urea with the sound Ayin at the beginning. Nowadays we have two types of our language. I don't know how to explain it to you. I can't call them accents because they're not. You can search Western Aramaic, I guess you're saying, and Eastern Aramaic. You'll see differences only in the way we write Western. Westerns are Aramaeans. They were never known by Aramaeans, but by Westerns, and us Assyrians and Chaldeans known by Easterns. Whatever you said is right, and I'm amazed you are. So are you Assyrians? Because not a lot of people knows about this. Asher is God, not human being. Okay. Now, I'm not Assyrian. I've probably got some North African ties. Way back in the bloodline somewhere, but I'm doing a DNA test to actually see what's in my genetics, DNA, whatever. DNA test. Okay. Asher, God, not human being. Okay. So he replies, I don't believe in such a thing. God won't see anybody talk in his name anymore. So for me, it's fake. I won't even look it up. Sorry. Will get mad. And he's talking about this lady that claimed to be she's making these claims apparently. Okay, that's what I think that's what he's referring to. Okay, you get mad, you get upset at it because she's talking about rubbish. He says actually the word Yahweh is a word in ancient Aramaic. It means everlasting God. Means God will always be now, or everlasting, yeah. God means will always be now, past, tomorrow. Abraham named the temple and Jews took it and named God Yah. Doesn't have to do anything with the Egyptian. It came from ancient Aramaic. Allah Sumerian, Ma means saint. We use Ma on saints. It also means word. My name is Mariel. Ma. Yeah, it's kind of confusing. It comes with so much meaning, it doesn't matter. They all represent God. That's what matters. Okay, no problem, friend. No madness from me to you, because you won't. Look, I think she is a trickster, twisting the Aramaic scriptures in English. Okay. The etymology or origins of the word Yahweh. Okay, he's got heaps of information. I see Ahia, Asher, Ahia, so to saying, I am Asher, I am, or something similar. Okay. Some more information there. Okay, the woman in the video you sent me, she's not a native speaker, she said it right, but so English accent, that means she's not a native, we can tell from the way she looks too, but yes, she's not. Okay. Yahweh in Aramaic means she will give. Yahweh in Aramaic means they will give. Jehovah in Aramaic is Yahudah. I believe in Hebrew dialect as well. You won't hear this from Assyrian Christians, native speakers. Yahweh only from Jewish. We disagree with the word Yahweh. They made their God only for Jewish people, just like they did with Messiah. They made it only for themselves. I personally don't believe that much in the Old Testament because it's been played by Jews. They copied stories from us, the Assyrians, while they were living in Assyria, aka Iraq. A lot of Old Testament stories, you will find them in our tablets, that they are way older than Jewish. In fact, they didn't even exist, or Abraham himself exists. They are old. That's our problem with Jewish. We hate each other, so we have problems with them over Old Testament. A lot of disagreements. I wish you could speak my language so I could send you videos about all this, but I guess you can't, so that's a big problem. That's the problem. People took one God and made it into 100. It wasn't like that when we existed. We always believed in one true Father. Pretty sure you have heard Assyrians who said you believed in gods with S. No, that's not the idea. They were angels, not gods, but that's how people took it. It's a really long story, not story, but stories. Okay, so us Assyrians, we don't use Yahweh at all. They can't translate Assyrian or Hebrew dialect. Into English because it's hard. English doesn't have the sounds we do and the letters we do. That's why everything is messed up. Like the Bible, King James, it's full of wrong translation. Our Father in English is wrong. Not the whole thing, but this bar, lead us, not a temptation. What the hell? Yeah, because it says, let us, in the Aramaic, it actually says, let us not fall into temptation. Lead us not into what? So you're saying God is the one who's making do bad stuff? No, it's wrong. You should say, don't let us go through the temptation. Yeah, that's exactly what I was trying to stress. Let us not fall into temptation or be tempted. Now he's saying, God help me pull out of my sins. The word in Aramaic is Jesus Christ. I don't know what that pratit is interpreted. Maybe it's Latala Nisana, which means don't let us go through temptation. It's wrong in English and Arabic and I don't know, maybe other languages. It's even wrong in our own language if we speak the normal Assyrian language and not the biblical one. But yeah, Yahweh, we don't use a period and we disagree with it, some of us, those who know about history. Yeah, well, they're Assyrians, so they should know their history, right? Here's Victor Alexander got quite upset with people who said, because he did a film, I don't know, in the 30s or something, maybe 40s, can't remember what he said, of the real Mesopotamian history in regards to the cherubs, those winged lions that were used at the gates of the kingdom, possibly spiritual protectors, whatever, that, something like that. Look at the history, go do your own personal research on it. It was said by Western theologists, etc., that they were, or Christians, Christians, that they were demons and all this sort of stuff. And he like, no, and he did a full-length film on it, took it to the libraries, festivals, whatever, they just said, oh, this is rubbish, and poo-pooed him, right? Yeah, but was presenting that real history. For some reason they didn't like it, they didn't want it known. Yeah, so I asked this guy, can you get someone to add subtitles in English as listen to many of the original Orthodox Assyrian and Apostolic Catholic Church of the East songs, but they just don't know the language, can't sing along. Right? So he replies, tell me about, and I asked him, tell me about the Sumerian god called Asher, or Asher. Sounds close to Asher. It's heard it mentioned in a video about the Anunnaki. Right? And he replies, well, I went to find you some, and that's what I found. Okay. But unfortunately, I don't know why they don't put English subtitles. We have so many Assyrians in USA, Canada, Australia, etc. that some can't speak Assyrian. I myself I can't sit and translate for you. I'm sorry, so sorry, but I did find those subtitles for you. Eastern Assyrian accent, Church of the East. Okay. YouTube, second one, and blah blah blah. Yeah. Then he replies, Assyrian, Babylonian, Sumerian, we're all the same. We all come from one tree. The Sumerians, they weren't Semitic. Okay. But all these others that followed after the Akkadians, because the Akkadians borrowed the language, etc. And they were Semites. The Akkadians, the Babylonians, etc. They were Semites. Half-breeds, right? Mixed peoples. Yeah. Assyrian, Babylonian, Sumerian, we're all the same, we'll come from one tree, Asher. Right? Actually, it's Asher. Again, problem with the Latin language, they don't have sh. English doesn't have it too. Much mean as a letter, you guys don't have sh. You use two letters to describe the sound. Sh, what he says. For us, they're the same. Asher is Asher. Yeah, because Greeks didn't have that. They didn't have that in their language, so they spelled it like this. Yeah. And it gives a bit more information there. Assyria is Asher. The country was called Asher, aka Iraq nowadays. Mesopotamian is Bet Narain, which means between two rivers. Narain came from Nara, means river in an old Assyrian language, aka Akkadian was Narum, now is Nara. That's where he comes from, Bet Narain. Yeah. He replies, I can't tell you about Anunnaki, we don't like to post online about this story because people will take it in the wrong way and post wrong info, so if you want to know more, please come private me on Snapchat. I read the name, the two rivers, but the Assyrian male females info is great. Thanks, and thanks for the Assyrian church songs. Loving them. Yeah, no problem. There's plenty of that information available on YouTube, etc. Okay, don't like to post about it because you know the winged disc icon over the flames, Asher or Asher in the middle, wearing the crown of righteousness inside a circle, etc., etc. And in Victor's translation, Moses doesn't see God or hear God speaking via a fiery burning bush, but on a flaming disc. I think Victor is from there, Bet Narain, or northern Iraq. Not sure, but yeah, that's all. Yeah, native born from there. Okay. You are every welcome. Feel free to ask anything you want. You can hit me up on Snapchat if you don't want to hesitate. Let me know if you have any questions. Okay. So Snapchat is like capable of one-to-one face chat. He's on Skype as if started the church, as if I started the church here, yeah, like the Apostolic Orthodox Church of the East. That's what I was planning to do. Assyrian Asher or Asher religion based. I could use you as a speaker to tell people the facts if I needed to. He's wanted to do this with Victor, but he never replied back to my emails asking him. There is one here on a Sunday full of teens from Iraq, but I can't get there on time as it's too far to travel. You think Victor is being honest, is accurate in what he says, and not biased or adding his own ideas to the translation in English, as he said he would. That's what he said. Okay. He wanted to get translate to the nearest English equivalent he could, right? In line with the ancient text, and yeah, he didn't want to add his bias, his own ideas, his own flavour. Okay, as most do, because that's why I found them in a lot of the other ones incorrect, like Lamsa. Okay, so he's telling me, yeah, you can find it on YouTube, but not all of them are right, honestly. Don't like to post about it, because if we do public, because other people can read and understand the point wrong, and we'll let someone else know about it at the wrong point, so yeah. So basically, in English, he's saying, who posts this information and someone twists it around, gets it all wrong. I don't know what's the deal with the winged disc icon. I don't know. Well, everyone has that idea. I don't know. Everyone know what it means, but I know a few from our Asher symbol. So the circle is the sun, and the spikes are the same as seasons. Summer, winter, etc. The bow, okay, because that's a completely different one to this one. That one's got a bow. And the symbol that it was used in Nineveh, it didn't have the flames. It had flames. The flame one you will see in the Sumerian, and I don't know what flame means. I don't know why God chose to show up for Moses as a tree or on fire. I guess God showed himself as a burning tree. I mean, a tree on fire but not burning, that's what I know. Kind of hard to understand, get your head around that one. But we have questions on what God said to Moses. We don't think he said, I am that I am. We do have a question here because it's believed that he said, I am the living Asher. I am the living God. Yeah, that's what I was trying to tell him later before. He says, Ahia, Asher, Ahia, which means I am Asher. I am God. I am. Right? He's not saying I am the king, Asher Banipal or whatever. Right? He's saying I am God. I am. Okay? But we have questions on what God said to Moses. We don't think he said I am that I am, so we do have a question. Because it's believed that he said, I am the living Asher, I am the living God. This is probably doing your hearing because he's like, it's not making sense. Because he's got a language problem. Okay, he doesn't speak English too good. So I'm trying to make the best of it, trying to get it across as best as I can. It's doing my hearing as well. Okay, hey, that's a good question though. Why all the symbols are like a phalam? The answer will be with Sumerian because they are older than anyone. That's what I know from the Winter symbol. Okay. And he replies to me again. He's being honest. He agrees that this guy's telling the truth, as I do. Right? Because I've communicated with him, tried to catch him up many times. You know, I've annoyed him with 100 emails, and he's just stayed a nice old man. And he had a little chuckle of some of the things I found. He stated you find the most bizarre Aramaic related stuff online. You know, he's quite chuckled over it. Yeah, he said he's being honest with the Alexander as he watched his videos, as I suggested, and they are right. He translated them right. And look, it's so complicated. You can't understand our tables. Maybe that's the tables of history or something, or the tablets. In the past, I've tried. I'm a Christian. I'm baptized since I was born. That's how it works for us. I searched a lot about my ancient people, and I got to the point I'm not believing in the Old Testament. If we could understand the beliefs in the tables that my fathers wrote, I guess religions on this planet would be destroyed and wars will happen between everyone because they speak about some weird stuff that human can't understand. And that's why I'm asking you to come private and hell no. Please don't. If you want to learn for yourself, don't teach anyone, don't even speak about what you learn. Keep it for yourself. That's what my people do. That's what my father would like you to do. Don't make any church by this name or any of that will cause problems for us and being, I mean, if it's huge problems, so keep it for yourself. Yeah, he's got some good advice here. So I say, okay, fair enough, maybe I'll ask you in private if able and face to face if able, but the world needs to hear the truth. These ancient scriptures are the real truth. It's a time for the BS. They've told us all this. As the real truth is over. Yeah, I can learn from all from you and keep it to myself and just say, hey, there's something you don't know, best you don't know because it might blow your mind. See, so he says, check all those videos on this channel. These infos are real and true, so check them. Yeah, read more. You know, he suggests that video there. Better to watch every single one and trust me, you will learn a lot. Your faith might be broken after all. Those info, you might see things differently. That's what exactly happened with me. So here, check the channel. The guy says, okay. I was just thinking about something today, so I have another question. It's Victor Alexander is translated in Genesis from the original Assyrian or Assyrian Aramaic in English, and it says that God created not in 6 days, as the Bible says, but using Yuma, immeasurable period, age, era, eons, or day, but not as we know it, but as the Creator's Day or Hebrew Day with capital D, which the day is kind of weird as explained in detail at this website here, which could mean over thousands of years or eras. Immeasurable period, eon, era, age, day with a capital D. Yet a Jew rabbi, like Rabbi Ravi Tovia Singer, says that their book language in the Tanakh is directly from God, preserved, hasn't been changed, it cannot be changed, added to or tampered with, and is thousands of years old. Then why does it say, as the Bible version says, God created all in 6 days? Yeah. Okay. Yuma means day. Okay. Yuma means day. Go back to Genesis one. Right. Okay. The morning, the first, and the morning became part of one cycle, the first eon. Genesis 1:5-3, literal Aramaic word, euma, eon, a measurable period, age or day. So you don't know how long that was. It's an eon, a measurable or unfathomable period, unfathomable age or day. So it could be 1,000 years. If one day is equal to 1,000 years in the eyes of God. Okay. So it's not a literal 6 to 7 day week that he created everything. Okay, it's over a series of eons, eras, ages, a measurable period, or unfathomable. You can't get your head around it. You don't know how long it took him, right? So that Hebrew must be, in the Bible translation from King James, whatever it's English, must be wrong. If this is the original Genesis, in the original language, the old sacred tongue, the Cypriot, right? Or Brita, right? Or the Cypriot, whatever Victor N. Alexander says, right? It must be wrong. Okay, the Hebrew must be wrong. It must be a modernized Hebrew, and people are pulling the wool over your eyes. These Jews or whatever, these people, right? In Israel. Okay? Back. Well, it's written Eumane, and it means days. So God created heavens and earth with 6 days. That's what he meant. I don't know what he said, but that's how it is. I don't think I have info about it. Or like why it's written days, Yuma, or Yamin, whatever. Okay, that's what he's saying. Okay, 6 days. But as I showed you, he's saying that it means unfathomable period. Okay, Yom is days, right? Okay, okay. In the Hebrew, Yom is day. Yuma. Eon, immeasurable period, day, age or day with a capital D. Yeah, he's right. 6 days, but you got to understand why has this day, where day got a capital D? Why wouldn't it be little? Lowercase d. Because it was a weird day according to the Creator's calendar. Right? Okay? It's to do with the lunar solar cycle. The moon and the sun. Yeah? Revolving. Right? One revolving around the other. Yeah? Yeah. Okay, go back there. Okay, and about that Jew rabbi, that's what us Assyrians exactly say, New Testament never been changed and cannot be. Tanakh was written in Assyrian as Hebrews say. Ashrit, so the language we speak now in the older language came from God. It's God's language, that's what we say. See? Assyrian, he's saying that's their language, right? The Ashrit, the Assyrian Aramaic or Ashrit. Okay. Came from God. It's God's language, that's what we say, the old Assyrian language. Even this new Assyrian language, it came from God, was given to us from God. So as I'm sure you may read days, God could have said shni, years, or dari, decades, but he said days. How God created everything within 6 days, I don't know, except absolutely don't have an answer. Okay. So it says, okay, nice. Victor has Yuma, Hebrew has Yom. So the Aramaic Yuma might be a latter twisting or adaptation of the original word Yuma, as words evolve, change over time. Yeah, Vic has immeasurable period, no one really knows how long. Eon, which is like unknown period, I'm guessing era is like a certain period, or age and time. God's time, day, as in Hebrew, because Aramaic and Hebrew, they were sister languages, so maybe these Mesopotamian, Judeans, Aramaic speaking people change meanings a bit over time. Yeah, okay. Hebrews say Ashrit, that the Kitab Ashrit is seen in the Talmud in their language, Kitab Iri, or Hebrew. Yeah, Victor though says first language God spoke to me was Aramaic. I think not if the Sumerians were way before him. I seen in the timetables of history a chronological timeline by Bernard Gruen from Furnestein's book, Culture Farplan. First peoples recorded as they left the tablets behind was the Sumerians, then Akkadians, Babylonians, who all met on the plains of Shinar or Sumer as said in the Bible, which actually was the desert region or plains in Assyria. But no record of Assyrians invading them yet because the Sumerians died out. Then the Akkadians were over as invaded by the Babylonians, then they became all over as invaded by the Assyrians later on, and then the Egyptians came out from Babylon and so on. Replied to him, sent him a message. Assyrian, Ashur, Isho, Yuma, and there's a explanation there for you. What is he saying, by the way? Okay, so Sumerian are the oldest, so God spoke that language with Adam and Eve. By the way, that story is taken from us. Well, that's why he's saying it's from the original Assyrian Aramaic, or Assyrian, as in Assyrian. See, there's no Aramaic, it's just Assyrian, or the Ashuri, or Ashuri. Okay. Okay, so, okay. So, here's some history of it. Oh, he's replied to me. Okay. Akkadian, what people call it, came from Sumerian, and this Aramaic, as people call it, came from Akkadian. In fact, we still use the old words, for example, Narum. He's got a lot of information there. We hate when people divide us. Sumerians are different than Akkadians, Assyrians, Babylonians, all that. But yes, we are called Assyrians, Ashuri. Our name was given by Ashur, God, the land, that the people, the language is all being named by this Ashur, even the kings were named. Okay. If you come right now among my people, all the tribes and clans, you won't find someone calling himself Babylonian or Akkadian. Those names are named by people, and those names cause a big problem like Aramaic. What that? What the F is that? Yeah, see, because it's got the end prefixes. You take away these ends. Yeah, they were originally called Akkad, right? And they've added an end prefix on it from a loan word from the Greek and the Latin. Aramaic. What the hell is Aramaic or Aramaic? Where did that come from? The language we spoke and still was never called that in truth. In fact, the word Aramaic is a big insult for us. Assyrians given by Hebrews. We hate each other to this day. We hate them because of their lies in the Old Testament. So he's attesting that they're talking rubbish. Okay? People hates us. Everyone hates us. The Assyrians. Okay, so my reply is, so yeah, no language originally is ik, and ear on end of words is Old Latin, to indicate them languages were spoken therefore owned by the Aram, Israelite, etc. Here I am in New Zealand, so I speak a little of that language. I'm married, right? This is about my uncle. He's a prominent, infamous preacher in New Zealand here. Okay. And I talked to the guy that interviewed him on the train. What do you think of him? He's my mum's cousin. Right? They don't like talking about him. They don't like him. She met him on the street and gave him a hard time because they were saying, like, watch out for the chosen one. Ever since he was a kid, he thinks he's a king. Now he wants to be, he thinks he's, he acts like he's Adolf Hitler, a little Hitler. That was his nickname. He thinks he's a king. King David's getting everybody to give presents and like bow down to him, sort of thing. Grovel, that sort of stuff. Apparently, he has to treat him like a king. He wants to make Auckland and New Zealand. He wanted to be the mayor, and then make it compulsory for everyone to go to church. Yeah, and he's trying to create a new city of God. Yeah, all that sort of stuff. Okay. So I replied to him and I said, so what lies have they said in the Old Testament? He's looking at a book with Hebrew and English and footnotes, explanations of what was said in the Hebrew Yat scrolls by Rashi. Okay, he replies, what the hell did I just watch? Opening of churches with different names, it's really a big problem, At the time of Christianity, there's only one church named Church of the East, Iraq. Okay. My people opened the doors of Christianity for the world because our empire was big and our people lived everywhere. We reached India, China. He's talking about Thomas, right? The Apostle Thomas, the disciple Thomas. we reach Europe, we reach Egypt. Catholic Church exists, the Orthodox, and so on and so on. The Church had problems together, one hating one another. The Church is way different than the Western churches. Like the video you just sent me, I'm sitting watching like, ha 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 ha, what the hell is this? Yeah. So he replies, I replied to him, sorry, it's my uncle's church. He runs it here. It's not like by many, but has over 900 people going to it. He says they have to call him a king. The king, he tried to become the mayor of our city. Like he didn't become the mayor, as all would have to go to his church or else. And he also wanted to create a new city here, a city of God, like the New Jerusalem, and then he would have given gays a really hard time. Make the rule like no more gays in that city, and that's why if the original church of the East, the right church, true church, and the Assyrian text Bible is the truth, manuscripts Bible that was given by Thomas to that church, then I want to have that here, as I'm so sick of all the BS, like as you saw in the video. And he asked me my ethnicity, which I already explained to him. I told him I'm from New Zealand, married. And he replies, he says, hey, you guys are old too. You guys are old too. Mary, to be honest, I don't know anything about Mary, but I do know that tattoo came from your language, and from you it's Mary thing. Yeah, okay, try to get your head around that one. So he understands he's heard of the Mary. Do you guys also have problems with white people? I mean, like natives having problems with white people, and so forth. How's your language? Is still alive? Did it change? Can native people still speak it? I like Mary. I always ask myself why native people lives in an island. They always have different looks than us. And so forth. Where'd you guys come from? Are you cuz originally from your land? Oh, where did you guys come from? Are you cuz originally from your land? Hey, one more thing is, the video you sent me, I watched it all and I was like, is that British accent? Because it sounds like, but at the same time, no, I guess that New Zealand accent, I liked it. Yeah, I sent him liturgy, page 1 of the Holy Apostolic Catholic Assyrian Church of the East. Is that the original manuscript in the Assyrian Church given them by Thomas, called the Lishana? Only read in modern Aramaic or Syriac, as can't be translated by anyone as the original language is so old, said a dead language. He replies, yeah, perhaps. As it was colonised, therefore a colony of the then Great British or English. This is my reply to him. Yeah, perhaps as it was colonised, therefore a colony of the then Great British or English Empire in 1840 onwards, so he speak colonial English. Not really the Queen's language as suggested, or what they speak in England, as we use a lot of colloquial, or colonial should be, and slang from the USA, or colloquials and slang from the USA, US slang, through their music and movies, and also from the Australians, whose great-grandpas were convicts or criminals, sent from England by boat to that place, which was, he goes on there, right? Asher, he replies, we joined English people in World War II. We had a deal to give our land back and not to Arabs. They lied to us and we lost everything. Yeah, they did. That's what British do. They did the dirty on them. That's why Mary Chiefy was told by an American, don't believe them, don't side with them because they'll take what we got and they'll crap on you. And that's what they did. Right? So this guy chopped down the flagpole in protest. They did that to the South Africans, took all their resources, right, and then left them with nothing, caused some problems there, and all this sort of stuff. They did it everywhere else. Yeah, they did it to a lot of people. Okay, so he gives me this video to watch, I think. Yeah, they did, a lot of them lost their lives in the war, World War II, right, and then these prats stole their land. Okay, I'm not too sure on this one. It's supposed to have come from Egypt. There's a book by, I did a video on it as well. What's his name? Oh my gosh. He's like an Egyptologist, and oh my gosh, called Book of Beginnings, Part 2. dual message, and it compares the Akkadian Hebrew language and the Egyptian and the Mary language. So we're really, really close to the Egyptian language. So we may have been originally Egyptians from Egypt, like it's been said here by different people, right? And went to Hawaii, and then went to the islands, dropped off some people who came to New Zealand, Aotearoa. Right, we've been here ever since. Yeah, apparently there's a culture in Thailand. They lived up in the hills, they came down and they mingled with the Chinese. The Thais were Chinese, kept giving them crap, right? Made them slaves, servants. We had a girl that stayed here. She was from there. She was saying, yeah, us people would be her servants. But apparently a married guy went there or something and met up with these people of this tribe, where you see the language, everything's pretty much the same. Very, very similar. He's like amazed. Okay, got some more information here. Suggest some text from sacredtext.com. I don't believe that Jews being slaves for Egyptians. I don't think they ever been in Egypt, as they claim. Yeah. So I replied, if one decides that he or she will undergo a study or research of any kind, be it religious text or historically based events, or for any that matter, for that matter, one should first do the necessary research on the particular person's background, history, relevant qualifications, and current standing within that particular field. Then go all out to prove the claims or facts made by them as established facts, prove and verify the claims of truth and accuracy proclaimed by them as beyond reasonable doubt. Irrefutable would have been what I would have written, but have been made aware of the fact that not all things are infallible, that one cannot debunk as rubbish, but can't deny as having been proven to be the truth. By looking at the pros and cons surrounding this person, the positive and the negative, from the higher accredited, qualified, recognised expert scholars, and lastly look at the common man who praises and the naysayer that debunks, and see if one has been put on the path of truth or swayed, thrown off track, lied, or given false information, told and sold as truthful fact. What do you think about this? Okay, so it gives me a link to something. I give him a link to something. Similarities between Assyrian, Aramaic, and Hebrew. Very interesting. And he comes back at me with I give him this, but everything thing with the ark. I found a book by a guy who translated the Egyptian text, Gerald Massey, where he compared the Hebrew language with the Egyptian and the New Zealand Maori language, and it's very similar. So there must have been in Egypt, they had something with them, some sort of connection with them. So he replies, Maori shares some words like Egyptians, but it's not known in Egypt's history if they ever left Egypt to go to Asia. Nowadays, Hebrew is not like the old Hebrew. It's just been modernised. They use some of my old language words I'm talking about. I'm talking about Akkadian. Egypt used to be called Kemet. Yeah, exactly. Or KMT. And that means black in Assyrian Aramaic. Okay. Well, Kemet, land of the black sword. Right, my people haven't been to Maryland, New Zealand. We've been to North America with Native Americans, and we've been to Europe, Germany, and Asians such as China and Japan. But Australia or New Zealand, no. I don't think we have. Okay. There are a lot of words in that book that are Maori and close to the Egyptian. A Maori guy stayed, or other Maori carrying carvings were found in a pyramid, and our migration has been traced back to there by certain Maori. In the know, we have the same word for sun, God, Ra, etc. You can see it in the book at archive.org. Okay, I asked him about Kitab Assyri. Here's the link to the Hebrew book. Right. Origins of the Maoris and the Africa. So, okay, cool. If you ever come here, let me know. I'd be happy to meet you, learn all I can from you. Okay, that's basically it, I think. But yeah, he was having an argument with different people. He said, nah, you're full of crap, you know. Yeah. He sees, the Assyrians hated, you know, that Victor N. Alexander actually says on his down website that they buried, the Westerners buried that Assyrian history. They don't want anyone to know about it. There are some that have done it. I think his name is Jorgensen or Jacobson, a Dutch guy. Stephanie Daly, you'll recognise, highly recognise. Okay, what's this here? Allah, Asher. Wasn't Asher one of the Mesopotamian kings? Hence the name of the Asherite. So Genesis 1:1 should compare with John 1:2, right? Yeah, that's basically it with the Assyrian native. But okay, so this is quite lengthy. So have you read something from there? Somebody here is saying actually the first gospel was written Assyrian language, which is Assyrian language in English, and wrongly called it Aramaic. Assyrians of today still speak that language. The name of Jesus in Assyria or Assyrian language is Yeshua, probably Y-S-H-A, which is a double E. That's how it's called by all Assyrians and in the church. When it was translated to Greek, they used the Latin letters, for example, J. In Latin it's pronounced as E. Then when it was translated from Greek to English, here's one. Yeah, the icon in this book is of Assyrian origins. It's a dialect language, it's a prayer. He calls it the language of Asherite or Asherit. The Persians have similar but with long chicken legs. Assyrianism, and the man in the middle is longer. He holds a ring. But there never was Aramaic or Assyria or Arabic, Arabia or Asiatic or Semitic. It's N prefixes from the Old Latin. Greek and Latin loanwords. Most languages were dialects without names or geographical locations, just regions where people spoke a certain way. When asked what did the people encounter in regions speak, the Latins had to answer, so they said they spoke Aram's language. They said we'll add an N prefix and say they speak Aramaic, or they were nomads or wanderers through the hot desert regions, so we call them Arabic and give their country a name, Arabia, Arabia, as it was a possession of the Arabs when they got. Okay. Is it definitions of it? Yeah, quite interesting. Okay, so before I end it here, because it's quite lengthy and I might be doing it hidden, I was like wondering about certain things that he actually says. Vicky Alexander, it's got me sort of puzzled right up the back, up the top of the back. Not in the video, but in the comments down here, like as to why his website was pulled out. Yeah, because it was up and then just suddenly boom, it's gone. Yeah? And he gives a reason down here somewhere. This is one of the comments that he's put. WWP.com has an influential stockholder. He has taken my entire VA.com away and prevents from posting new Aramaic Bible readings on the internet. Call some authorities to see if they can find why they're doing this. If they can find out why they're doing this. And he's addressed, he doesn't have any laptops, can you send me to use one? Right. Okay. That's the same sort of thing on this guy. His name on his blog, right? So it's suspiciously. Okay, indicated that I found a way to resurrect this website. Okay. Yeah, Victor N. Alexander's website, va.com, went down around 2030, so I found a way to restore it, and it made several videos for my Clever Sausage channel and the Real Truth TV channel, which I've changed to the Real Truth Congregation because there's too many Real Truth TVs on YouTube, right? And if you're looking for me, you'd end up at a relationship solving one or some other ministry, Christian ministry, right? Okay, yeah, so I was a bit confused on that comment because I smelled a rat. Okay, reading this other guy's blog, right? Him claiming that Victor Ian Alexander's middle name was Isaac. Found this and I seriously smell a lying rat. Victor Ian Alexander is alive. Make a mental note of this. 7 comments, hide original post. Vic Alexander, a native Aramaic language speaker who undertook to translate the entire New Testament, a large portion of the Old Testament from the ancient Aramaic into English, is alive and living in Glendale, California. Vic's website va.com went offline years ago, and emails to vic@va.com went unanswered. As I often use Vic's translations, I received a number of inquiries as to where the Vic had passed or died. Even his residence in the Burbank changed hands. It turns out Vic had health issues, moved closer to his treatment centre, and that treatment made it impossible for him to continue his website and translation work. But as he said, that website, somebody, a stockholder, pulled it down. He didn't want it up there, right? I recently re-established communication with Vic, that's what this guy's saying, and Dan Steele. His name's Dan Steele. Dan Steele made a note here, pulled you to it. He recently re-established communication with Vic at that email. This information copied and corrected. His zip is 9120109. All this sort of stuff. To this one. I found out that I'm the sole heir, this guy Dan Steele, or us, Vic is saying that he's the sole heir of Nimrod Alexander, first CIA director who placed money under his name since 1906, and was assassinated by foreign enemies, leaving him a fortune which cannot be estimated in dollars and cents. He's converted that fortune to the benefit of all those who want to make the world a better place. It says contact him. Yeah, it seems Vic might have some residual cognitive effects from his treatment. He ain't no billionaire. Please do not judge him for that. Instead, please respond to this. I informed Vic that Duke had left a message offering support on Vic's story. Jesus, from his own words. Thanks, Dan. Can you encourage these people to make a small contribution? That's what he's saying. And there's this address there, whatever. Later, Vic responded with this. Thanks, Dan. I will send you the book. As I received your order, I have to help live with somebody, that's his wife. My son-in-law, Donald Trump, has prevented everyone from sending 1 cent. So the cognitive medical problems, his meds are giving him problems. He's delusional, or else, yeah, he's going senile. Okay, some more comment there. Okay. Okay. Clearly, Vic has been affected cognitively by his medical treatments, hence the videos with overpowering sound, not like him. Can't hold it against him in his prior work of translation is unaffected, so if you have profited from Vic's many years' effort of translating the ancient Aramaic scriptures into English and would like to help him out now, please consider sending a contribution directly to him, or is it someone else asking for cash? That address, right? You can contact him. He believes they're priced quite well. I said, bought a couple of years nice stuff to post it to me free of charge. That's me talking about him. He deserves to be compensated for his efforts. Yeah, fair enough, because he's translated it. He should get some money for it. But I think he could get it by selling massively at lower prices than he is currently asking. He's already doing it low, and he doesn't pay the postage. He doesn't charge you for the postage. He's a nice man. Okay. And yeah, Amazon is expensive. They add up the postage and handling and shipping rates, and you might be paying US $60 extra for a US $35 book that he sells, right? I am asked, why, Dan, do you promote Vic Alexander's translations. He is a solo worker and by your own account, the translations are full of typos. Yes, and he doesn't always include a footnote. He has an asterisk before. Yeah, because sometimes, because he's old, he's 60 or 70, so sometimes he might forget, he might miss a word like I found. Okay. So I asked him to do an update so he knows it's you. It's him, right? His number there apparently. Okay, so yeah, that Dan Steele guy saying that his middle name is Isaac, either he's going silly on the meds, because of the meds, or he's going senile, being 60 or 70, whatever he is now. Okay, so I got this funny feeling there's someone posing as Victor in Norwegian Alexander, because he tried to say his wife's in a statement that she's Norwegian and she's got some connection with near Trump's wife and all this stuff, and I was like, something's not right here, eh? Okay, Victor Isaac Alexander VA.com has been removed from my peer.com account by US government hackers. So as to, this is what he's saying, right? Victor Isaac Alexander, which is completely wrong. It's a Nimrod after his grandfather, great grandfather, something like that. Victor Isaac Alexander VA.com has been removed from my peer.com account by US government hacker. So as to starve me and live financially. Another comment was, I don't have any money to use a new hosting account. Question, why does it say his name is Isaac when his middle name initial was N? When at the blog site it also says N. Even in this book he uses N. I smell a rat. Okay, have a look at this guy's blog site. Victor N. Alexander Books. List of books by author Victor. There you go. Okay, this is what I found. Dan Steele's blog site, and then it changes. The story changes 10 months ago. Steven Spielberg for Star Wars, E.T., all those sort of movies, ganged up with Queen Elizabeth II to prevent him, Victor Alexander, from raising funds in order to make movies about the parables of Jesus and to disseminate my translation of the ancient Aramaic scriptures that I made directly into English without going through other languages totally unrelated to the language. Jesus the Messiah, Jesus the Christ, spoke 2,000 years ago. Dr. John Gunnell used to follow my translation work with interest. Also, as a Mormon, he was not adverse to my publishing my translation. However, he wasn't against it. However, as a Mormon and a forthright man, he admitted his involvement in getting Adolf Hitler killed. Okay, later on he says that the guy's a homosexual. Dr. John is a homosexual. He admitted his involvement in getting Adolf Hitler killed, but this admission led Phil Neer and Mark Philbin, his Baptist preacher son, into making many attempts against his life when he lived at Cabrini Villas in LA County. Mark Philbin, who had murdered his wife and 2 children, went into a hateful rampage to prevent me, Dr. John Gunnell, to come to terms with the monies my father Nimrod Alexander, born in 1884 in Ottoman Turkey, had deeded to him in the Bank of England or the Bank of London, the money the crooked Queen Elizabeth II had illegally appropriated for herself. Queen Elizabeth II and Phil Neer made payments to each other with every theft she made through the Swiss bankers, until Phil Neer and his wife Caroline Neer both died and were buried. The fact that it was my father who bought 863 townhouses of the Cabrini Villas meant that I would lose them, and since it would take me at least 5 years before the case would come up to trial, meant neither I nor Dr. John Gunnell would get 1 cent. Now there is no love lost between me and Dr. John Gunnell, but then he and I are going to be the big losers, and not the murderer Mark Philbin or his murderer's father, Phil Neer, who died and what's the use of suing the Cabrini Villas Corporation that rents and sells the town houses of Cabrini Villas. So who won and got away with it? Murderous, corrupt and evil Queen Elizabeth II of England and the Anglican Church. That was by Victor Isaac Alexander, that's what it says on the, I think that's what it says on that guy's blog site. Yeah. I picked it up somewhere. So yeah, I don't know what's going on. This Dan Steele guy. Yeah, I smell a rat. Yeah. I smell a rat. Yeah. He's been working to restore his website since 2018. He hasn't done it yet. He's got a conversation with the Assyrian guy, Asher. Going into the name of Asher? Yes, I seriously smell a rat. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there, because this has been pretty lengthy. It's probably a couple of hours long, and you probably fell asleep. Yeah, yeah, so if you like this, you found that it was very informative in regards to Victor Alexander, the Assyrian history of the Assyrians, the Assyrian, Aramaic, Asher, etc. You can subscribe to my channel by clicking on the icon in the video corner, yeah, or wherever you can find it. Leave your comments if you liked it or not, and give us a like or a thumbs up, and then tell all your friends about it. That this guy, that Couch Coomer, or Clever Sausage, aka Clever Sausage, is revealing the truth, the real truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth, in regards to the ancient scriptures, translated in English, versus the American, modernized American versions. Okay, and the churches, the Christians, and that are hoodwinking me. Possibly the Hebrews, the Jews, rabbis, hoodwinking everybody. That I have to do further study on. So yeah, give us a thumbs up if you like it. Add your comments, subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe. Tinkle that bell so you never miss out on any exciting videos from the Clever Sausage or the Couch Coomer, vice versa. Okay. Yeah. So we will see you on the next exciting video.